Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host, identifying as the Barstool Cougar. Each week for your entertainment, pleasure, and intellectual arousal, you can sling it here with me, Smugsy. The first item of business is, of course, Cougar of the Week. This week it's Anne McCarthy. It's been 19 years since the attack on September 11th, and Anne McCarthy was there, and she has an incredible tale to tell about it, and she told her story this week on the Twisted History podcast at Barstool Sports and Keep Up with Cynthia Dill, another podcast. The story is poignant and incredibly powerful, and that's why Anne McCarthy is nominated and confirmed Cougar of the Week. In a nutshell, she grew up on the stock market with her father and became a stockbroker herself. Scrappy, cute, strong work ethic. Her father had very well-reputed firm, scrappy, street smart. Harvey, Young, and Yerman. Anne McCarthy, then Anne Harvey, was a stockbroker at the firm, and every Tuesday they'd have a meeting at Windows on the World to discuss the strategy. The top traders would meet with Anne McCarthy's father, Rick Harvey. And, of course, on September 11th, 2001, while they were in Windows on the World, the plane hit and the whole group perished. Anne McCarthy lost her father and 10 or so other people who were in her circle of family, friends, colleagues. She and her husband were right practically close to ground zero as well, on either side of where the attacks took place, on either side of the towers, and so they navigated the day and have since stitched together their life, living, I think, incredibly large. Anne McCarthy's married to large at Barstool Sports. She told her story, and for that, she's Cougar of the Week. Unless, of course, she says, like, fuck you, Smugsy. Like, I don't want to be Cougar of the Week. Who are you? Like, no thanks. You can keep your little weird stuff away from me. I hope not, because I think she's a good Cougar. The others have been so far Eva Longoria, Kamala Harris, and Melania Trump. So Anne McCarthy would add, I think, just a lot to that lineup. And so unless she objects, Anne McCarthy is this week's Cougar of the Week. We had a poll last week, and so many fans weighed in. Thank you for your engagement. You can follow me at Smugsy Girl on Twitter. Of course, you can leave your comments on the YouTube show. I hope you subscribe. But last week we asked fans, in light of kind of a recognition that we need to add a little yang to the Cougar of the Week yin to to really succeed at Barstool Sports, which is men's talk radio. We need a male co-host. We need a man to help co-host the Cougar of the Week pick, and we had 4 choices: KFC, Steve Robinson, Brandon Walker, or Tuca, Erica Nardini's dog. And it's a mandate, KFC, like 64% say KFC. So KFC, if you're listening, I look forward to working together with you. Get a little Clancy, Yang. I think the concept, Cougar of the Week, the pick has legs. There's a lot of potential. We could do some betting. We could get it on the app. So congratulations. Steve Robinson and Tuca tied for second, and Brandon Walker got 0 votes. None. I guess nobody thinks that Brandon Walker could be the man co-host of Cougar of the Week, which, I don't know, maybe that's why. Maybe he's a pussy. is what I don't know. It's one thought. This week's Slinging It topic. Every week we, sling it around with Smugsy. Well, this week the topic is sports and politics. There's, in case you haven't seen, there's basically like, like a race riot going on, or there's a lot of racial tension because of what we see in the news and because the reality on the ground for black people in society, especially with the rise of white nationalism and white supremacy, the NFL, where, overwhelming majority of the players are black, have decided to play the black national anthem before the games this week, and some people are complaining about that. Okay, like Jason Riley at the Wall Street Journal. He's one of my favorite columnists. This week, however, the black national anthem, he objects to it. He doesn't want to, I don't want to listen to it because I guess he's too busy. I don't know. The national anthem that is played before the games by Francis Scott Key in like the 1700s. It's a nice song. It's a good song, the national anthem. Okay, but it's not the only song. And maybe like, yes, let's play this other song called, Lift Every Voice and Sing, written by James Walden Johnson. Beautiful song. Beyonce sings it. In addition to church groups, it's basically like a very inspirational, feel-good song about hope and forgiveness and a bright future for everybody, written by a guy who was a Republican at the time. This is after the, Emancipation Proclamation, after black people actually became people in the United States. It didn't happen until 1865. This song was written in the 1900s celebrating Abraham Lincoln. So this was a lawyer. The author of the Black National Anthem was a lawyer, Republican. He was a school principal. He became the NAACP executive director and then went on to write, like, as a wildly successful Broadway songwriter. I'd never heard of him. There's no monuments to him. I liked learning about him. I liked the song. I want to hear the song before the game. So Jason Riley at the Wall Street Journal, stop complaining. Just stop complaining. You can, and he's also whining about activist, radical activist sayings on jerseys like, Trayvon Martin or, Black Lives Matter or, love. Really? Think about all the nonsense our eyes have to absorb connected with the sports events that we observe. Think about the Tour de France, okay? It's like an assault on your eyes, all the corporate logos and the bright cacophony of images that we have to subject our eyes to about banks and banks and more banks. So if there's going to be a logo on the jersey of the NFL players, I think we can handle it. Okay, we see the tattoos. Okay, we see. Stop complaining. Yeah. So the poll question for this week, fans, is, the athletes are doing their part to balance their roles as athletes and activists, right? They're trying to do both. They're trying to play a good game, right? Play a good game of basketball, but use the power you have to try to move the ball forward when it comes to justice and striving for equality. There's nothing wrong with that. So the poll question this week is, if the athletes are going to try and balance their roles as athletes and activists, then is it okay for the franchises and Barstool Sports, I would say, to do it too, right? Do you agree that the sports franchises, NFL, NBA, all of them, can try to balance the two, politics and sports? It'd be nice to think there was a day, right, back in the day when there was a separation. Well, it's over. Sports is huge. It's entertainment. Where there's money and entertainment, where there's power, there's politics. And so the question is, the athletes trying to rise to the occasion, and do you think the franchises should rise to the occasion too? So answer the poll question at SmugsyGirl on Twitter, or call the Smugsy Studios, 207-744-7044. And until next time, and I hope there will be a next time, this is Smugsy Girl, identifying as the Barstool Cougar, signing off. Take care.